So a couple weeks ago, someone was caught cheating doing a certain thing on stream which was pretty idiotic. I for one looked at that and was wondering why they decided it was a good idea to show that shit on stream. Sorry, I have to cuss there, but why are they showing it on stream knowing full well what the game pertains when it comes to a TOS? Well, at least I think they know what the TOS is. It's almost like you look at the rules and you blatantly say, nah, that doesn't exist, I'm gonna do it anyway. And for a while now, we've had this thing where the TOS has constantly been broken and people will constantly do things like graphical upgrades or do that calculator thing. You know, I'm kind of guilty of doing something similar. Let's get this out the way and let's talk about this right now. Yeah, we know about the calculator, the ACT. It's basically a calculator that basically numbers up the damage to not just yourself, but everybody else. And it can just be yourself that it calculates, but there are reasons why people add this into the game, especially when it comes to Savage and Ultimate. They want to be able to look at the numbers and see if they're doing okay within the game itself. And you know what? We don't really need to have the ACT. We don't really need to have a calculator. They already have something called Stone Sky Sea to help us kind of get where we want to be when it comes to these challenges that they're putting at the end game. But you know how people are, people will do what they want to do. And if there's one thing people will always do, it's to modify or add or try to do something to make things more convenient for themselves. If ACT is anything, it's not a convenience, more or less something that's more precise and exact, or it's not always exact, but it's more precise and more in your face in terms of the numbers rather than the Stone Sky Sea. The problem here is that that program, or the program that was seen as cheating, is all against TOS. We can't just outright say that we're using it. We can't definitely show it in front of everybody in terms of a stream, and it's, well, apparently a bad thing. It's a bad thing because it goes against the TOS, and Yoshi P, he has stated this many times, but he can't see what's in your computer. Basically, he's trying to translate into, hey, I can't see what you're doing. We can't stop you from using it. Just don't get caught. Right? The game is pretty open. You know, a lot of people love playing the game the way they want to. A lot of people are up here putting in graphical updates, and you know what? 14 really does need graphical updates, but they put in something called G-Shade and it makes things look a lot better. I've used it before, but I've not streamed it. I don't want to stream it because I don't want G-Shade to go away. It's for my personal use, and I expect Yoshi P is thinking the same thing. Something for our personal use. Yet for some reason, we have idiots out there streaming third-party tools on because they think that they won't get caught. I really don't know why they are doing this. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to show these things on stream. I just don't understand. No matter how you look at it, no matter what you do, it's not just a gray line. It's not a gray line at all. Do not show yourself using mods or add-ons or third-party tools when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV specifically. But that's just Final Fantasy. Let's talk about mods and add-ons in terms of a gaming historical base. My first time encountering mods was probably when I was a young boy. I am rather old, but I was playing Doom, and I couldn't play Doom for the life of me because I was too scared of the monsters and guns and blood and guts all over the place. So my dad actually installed a mod in Doom. That mod was to turn everything into Batman, and I was a big fan of Batman back in the day. I watched the animated series. You guys remember that? Well, because my dad knew that, he found this Batman mod, and basically I was swinging a batarang at everybody and beating people that were like 7 times my size all over the place, but it was still a fun mod. It may have not been the actual Doom, but I had fun playing that mod over the actual game of Doom until I, nutted up and started playing the game of Doom and started liking it. The point of this is that I was having fun with a mod, and it was something that I was able to do because my dad was smart enough to put it in. And then I actually moved on to Doom to play that while I was growing up and be able to, withstand the gore, the guts, the monsters, and everything like that. I was happy to be able to play something that was babied until I was old enough to understand that, it's all fiction. I'm not gonna have nightmares about that anymore. I'm gonna play the actual Doom. Then you got old stories like Team Fortress, which eventually had a spiritual successor of Team Fortress 2, which came from another game. That was a mod in itself, and it became its own game in the future. Remember, Team Fortress was a mod of Half-Life, and a lot of people like making mods out of Half-Life. I have a feeling someone is going to make a mod of Half-Life 3 before the actual Half-Life 3 comes out, Then you got Dota. Dota is very famous for being a mod of Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos. I know full well that Warcraft 3 had its own own, litigious things going on with Dota, copyrights and all. And then Dota 2 came into existence. But you have to think about it. Warcraft 3, if that didn't exist, and that was an official game by Blizzard, if that didn't exist and Dota didn't pick up the pieces and the mods and the programming for that to make Dota, which turned into Dota 2 into the future as a spiritual successor, you wouldn't have Dota 2. You probably wouldn't have League of Legends. League of Legends wasn't a mod of anything. They were inspired by Dota, the original Dota from Warcraft 3, as being a mod. See, even a mod can inspire something to exist. Not to mention that mods, add-ons, and hacks were very frequent and very popular when the turn of the century came by. I want you to go out there and look for a Mario hack. There are a ton. Even though they weren't taking down Super Mario World ROM hacks, they were taking down other Nintendo projects as they see fit. Though they wouldn't touch Mario ROM hacks for some reason, it's still kind of unexplained why they don't go after it. Listen, just know that ROM hacks, mods, and add-ons for games like Skyrim and all types of other games out there that have hacks and mods and add-ons, especially games like World of Warcraft, which they embrace add-ons, they all exist for a reason. See, it's a difference between the East and the West. You want to know why TOS is such a big thing for Japan? It's because they don't allow copyright to be even budged by an inch. If your copyright is legislated to be signed as yours within that company, nothing, nobody, not even a single person can touch that, no matter what. They have to get a license for or they have to have permission. There's no such thing as fair use or fair dealings in Japan. Everything that has been created by a company or an individual is usually copywritten, and nobody can use that without permission or having some sort of license to use it, just as I said before. And just know that the difference here is the East and the West. Over in the East, it's just not allowed, but in the West, it's always been embraced. Actually, mods and add-ons have walked side by side with video games as they evolved, so it's just been a thing over here in the West. And the reason why so many people use add-ons, mods, and third-party tools over in the West is because it genuinely does give you a better or a longer experience with a video game. It can feel good. It makes the game better in some form or fashion. I was playing golf with friends, and I believe that there was an add-on or a mod tool that was added on, and we were playing games that frustrated the shit out of me. But I was playing, instead with a golf ball, I was playing with a cone, a puck, an acorn, and it was stupid, but it added more fun and more giggles, to be honest, because it's more than just golfing. It was, hey, let's try to get this shape into a hole, and it was just crazy. And in the case for MMOs, there's always been mods or add-ons when it comes to some of them, but for the most part, World of Warcraft was the showcase of being a game that had add-ons and embraced it, like I said before, but the embracing of these add-ons kind of messed up the game for me personally. So how World of Warcraft works when you compare that to something like Final Fantasy is that you can have pretty much all the add-ons or mods that you want to change, like the UI or what you see within the game, maybe even the graphical settings, maybe even people. And to be honest, that's kind of fun, but at the same time you have something like Deadly Boss mods, which kind of ruins it for me, because I like doing raids, and raids are fun when you want to do it with a challenge, and Deadly Boss mods may take that challenge away because it kind of shows you how to play it, not maybe beat it. I don't know if it helps you beat it, but it shows you how to play it. For the most part, it tells you where to go, it tells you plans, it tells you what attack is coming up, whereas in Final Fantasy XIV, you honestly have to have skill. You gotta listen, you gotta pay attention, you have to take a look at what's going on in terms of the animation and what's going on around you. It adds a field of difficulty in terms of your surrounding and the enemy at the same time. Not to say that the raids in World of Warcraft isn't hard. In fact, I do think that they're hard, and I do think that they have a challenge to it, but they also have to work around the, the Deadly Boss mod. They actually have to take into account that people are going to use that, and I think that turns the raid into something of a difficulty when people aren't using that mod. If somebody wants to do this through vanilla or clean, and they want to take on the challenge with their own grit, they can't, because DBM sometimes, and I'm saying sometimes, needs to be used. I've only seen a streamer by the name of Max who has done raids for a long time. He even did Final Fantasy XIV raids. He wanted to try to take on the most difficult ones there, but mostly he does World of Warcraft raids, and I do see that they have to have add-ons in order to succeed a lot of the time, and I'm not blaming him. I'm just gonna say that It's kind of odd for me to see that, seeing that I come from Final Fantasy XIV, that is not allowed for add-ons or mods to be implemented to do anything. So when I see people using mods or add-ons in Final Fantasy XIV, I can only imagine that they're coming from maybe World of Warcraft, where that's widely accepted, whereas in 14 it's not so accepting. You gotta remember that 14 is mostly a social game. When it comes to in-game and harder content, people usually just use a calculator. They expect you to know how to do the boss via videos and such, and guides and all that, but I just want people to take a look at what they're doing. I want people to look back. If you're a World of Warcraft player or a 14 player, I want you to look back, and if you are using third-party tools and mods, I want you to look back and see what you're doing with those mods. If you're using graphical overhauls or UI kind of things, then, you know, I don't really care, but people in 14 and Square Enix, they will care. People in WoW probably won't care. And there's the difference, again, East and West, and their way of doing business, and, you know, how copyright works over in the East, whereas in the West, it's just, you know, it's kind of free. If you are using an add-on or mod in 14, shut the hell up. Don't stream it. Don't talk about it. Don't even say a thing. Enjoy your time with that mod. However, if you're using it in raids and ultimates and it's kind of a cheating tool, I would implore you not to use it. Please don't use cheating tools. Don't make things so easy that you're spitting in the face of the people who developed the fight to try to make it as difficult and fair as possible. Please don't do that. You're literally taking a challenge and turning it into something that it shouldn't be, which is an easy mode or an easy task for you to do, which is not something a hard piece of content is supposed to be. It's supposed to be hard for a reason. It's at in-game for a reason. I will say this one more time. The mods and add-ons within 14, I don't care if anybody uses them, but if it comes down to cheating tools and in-game raids and ultimates, please don't use them. You don't need them. You can beat that game without any cheating tools whatsoever. If you think it's too difficult, it's because you are holding yourself back rather than trying to do it again and again and getting better at it. I didn't become really good at Super Smash Brothers because I took a cheating tool to make sure that all of my jabs hit, or being able to predict everything where my opponent's going. I don't do that. I don't put tools in there. I don't put lag switches in the game. I fight fairly and just get better that way. If you think that you physically cannot do it and you need the cheating tools in order to play these games, be it World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, or anything else, you are really doubting yourself and your own ability. I think you can do it. I think it can be done. They are literally tailor-made to be beaten by anyone. Ultimate, Savage, Extremes, it doesn't matter. Unreal, the difficult does not matter. Anyone can beat these without cheating tools. And if you come into my channel and into my stream, which I do almost every day, and you tell me that you need them because you physically can't do it, then I don't know what to say, but maybe that mode is not for you. Maybe not the game. I'm not going to say the game is not for you, but the mode itself, Savage, Ultimate, and all that hard content, it's probably not for you. There are other things in 14 that you can do, but using a cheating tool to win these hollowed victories, it's just, I don't think it's right at all. And there you go, a little bit of a history lesson for you and how I feel about third-party tools and mods and add-ons. I frankly don't see any problem with them being there. They help evolve gaming, if you ask me, but if you're going to use cheating tools, I don't condone it at all. I think add-ons and mods will help games in the long run, fixing issues and eventually being implemented. You know, we've had a patch where they say, hey, look, we can make the numbers bigger and put it in the middle of our abilities. And I was like, wait, isn't that a mod or an add-on for the game that was illegal before and now they're just putting it in? That's amazing. So, you know, that's why I'm saying that it's very helpful and very needed. I'm going to say this again, please be careful. Please don't show the mod on stream. Don't have the mod activated while you're on stream. Don't show it in the face of people who will eventually just snitch on you. Don't do it. Don't do it, please. For your health, for the sake of the person who's developing the mod, and, you know, for everyone's enjoyment and entertainment. And only for mods and add-ons that don't really do any damage, like graphical or UI or anything that doesn't change the core of the game. However, cheating tools, if you're caught with cheating tools, you got what you deserved, okay? And the person who's developing the cheating tools, I don't like you. I don't like you. If the game allows add-ons, then let there be add-ons. But if it has a TOS and it's against add-ons, well, I mean, I've already given you plenty of warnings. I'd like to know what everybody thinks in the comments down below, and while you're looking at the screen, maybe you want to check this video out here where I talk about World of Warcraft. It's one of my best videos, and hopefully you guys will take a second look at that. This is a spoiler-free version if you haven't seen it, but I hope that you guys take care and have a good night, and perhaps not get caught cheating. Goodbye.